What's up, everybody, and welcome in to your Celtic source, home of your 55 and 26 second place Boston Celtics. A year that was supposed to be a gap year, a year that Jayson Tatum wouldn't return. And look at where the Celtics are right now. Man, oh man, were we wrong about this team.
Well, gap year, my butt. I'll just say, um, this has been an incredible fun year from 0-3 to 55 wins. Um, I always thought this team, I'll just be honest, I always thought this team was going to come better than this, but no one saw, I never saw 55. I would never claim to see 55. I saw 44, 43.
Yeah,
Wow, what a
I
season.
think 44 was the max anybody had, and still that was pushing it. I mean, this team started 0-3. This team was a disaster to start. And you know what? We talk about this all the time in baseball, how, the first week of the season, you can't be overreacting to everything that you see in week one. Yes, that is true in the NBA, but there are all these trends that we were like, they're going to lose the game rebounding. They're not going to have enough shooting. And they have become, just to talk about the rebounding, the best team in the NBA in rebounding. Jaylen Brown has become one of the best rebounders in the game after that wasn't even part of his, resume coming into the season. And then Joe Mazzulla, I think has he's not going to be the coach of the year, but I think without a doubt, he has to be. I mean, look at what he's done with everybody else on this roster.
I think that's right. I'll just say this. Jaylen Brown had the greatest season of his career, and it may be the greatest season he ever has. Right? He got the chance to be the number one, the alpha, and he showed us who he really is. Right? He's got a chip on his shoulder, fine, but wow, did he hard carry this team? It was impressive. I'm not saying we didn't get a lot of supporting roles here, but like this team went through JB all season.
Yeah, I think I actually want to, before we dive into some of
Okay.
intricacies of this season and all that, and some of the player performances, I want your thoughts on the Knicks game on Thursday because you know what? Obviously, Jaylen Brown doesn't play, but that is a potential and most likely a probable second round matchup, assuming both teams advance. And I think these two teams are different than they were last year. You can't play them the same way that you did last
Yeah.
year. You look at Josh Hart for an example, and we talked a little bit about this off air, but Josh Hart last year was like a 30% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
That in most eyes, including the Celtics, you leave that guy open. You force him to break you on tough threes. And he always did it against the Celtics. He would shoot like 45% or something against the
Yeah.
Celtics, and that's how they won. I mean, but this year, he's shooting 41% from threes without the Celtics' help, right? That's not a guy you can leave open anymore. You have to be guarding him, and that changes how the Celtics play their defense. They can't, you know, gang up on Brunson because they have to keep an eye on what Josh Hart is doing. And maybe, Anunoby's not shooting it well this season. Maybe you keep him open, maybe Bridges. But Josh Hart is not a guy that the Celtics can leave open anymore.
It sure feels that way. I will say this though, man, did Brunson look good in that game? I mean, that pass he had down to that was nasty. I mean, just he looked good. Now that said, um, last year we said not worried about the Knicks, not worried about the Knicks, not worried about the Knicks. Okay, we know how that ended up. I'm going to say it again this year. Not worried about the Knicks. I think they're a very tough out. You can
I,
disagree. Don't
I'm
shake your head at
stopping
me.
you there.
No, you're not.
Don't.
I'm going to say this. Last year, this team, the Celtics team, was better on paper than they were on the court. This Celtics team is way better on the court than they are on paper.
That is true, but the
And
Knicks
I think we
are
match
are
up
a
better
better
this year.
team on paper than the Celtics are on paper as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough out, but I think there's a lot. I mean, I think if Jaylen Brown
I
plays in that game, we win.
so yeah, I agree on that.
So
Here's
okay,
Tatum didn't have a great game, and I want to get into some other players in this game as well. Right, the Knicks definitely took advantage of Jayson Tatum being out there by himself. Right, I mean, without his partner in crime and Jaylen Brown, and they just doubled him. They forced him to do things that he maybe wasn't not. I'm not gonna say ready to do, but given that he was really
stretching his readiness.
right, and I actually think he is pretty ready to go. I think he's at, maybe not the shooting, but athleticism and physically, I think he's, 90% of where he was. Maybe not quite, but
He
that
seems a
game,
step slow to me. If you watch Brown off the dribble, he explodes.
mhm.
Tatum doesn't explode the way he used to yet. He will. I think he will, but he doesn't yet. He's still just a half a step slow to me.
Jayson Tatum was actually offered to sit the game, so Joe Mazzulla definitely, playing a little bit of a trickery, right? He didn't want to play Brown in that game, not show your hand
Yeah.
and whatever, right? Jayson Tatum was offered to sit as well. They could have played almost nobody in that game. Jayson Tatum said he wanted to play. I think that's for the betterment. Gets that, return to Madison Square Garden under
Yeah.
his feet before he goes back. You don't want his first return to be in the playoffs. I
Agreed.
don't think that's
Agreed. Agreed.
right. So that's why he plays. But he definitely, you could see early, right? He was really
Wasn't great.
emotional about coming back, right? He really didn't want to play, but said he, knew he needed to play. Hopefully he's gotten over that because that can't be happening again when he shows up in the playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about that, to be honest. I don't think that's the big story to take away from this game, despite what
I mean,
everybody wants it to be.
I don't think there's any story to take away from this game. We didn't have our number one player, and we basically held with him until the last few minutes. And
Yeah, although I
we
don't know, Brunson and I mean they're a great crunch time team, even with Jaylen
yeah,
Brown back. Yeah, I like keep
yeah.
that a close game. I'm worried.
No doubt
Down,
they're
yeah,
a tough out. They're a tough out. But I'm more worried about the 1-2 punch if we end up going through Charlotte being banged up, because Charlotte's going to take a game or two for you, and
yeah.
that's going to be a
So
tough physical game.
I do want to talk
Ouch.
about that with you a little bit at the end.
We're
I
not there
think
yet.
right. I don't think Charlotte is a possibility. Actually, in fact, I don't think we can play Charlotte. I
Okay.
think it's mathematically impossible now. I think it's 76ers who Joel Embiid's going to be out with the appendix. I mean, God, that
Oh,
is a cursed franchise. I mean,
he'll be back. I mean, the appendix is he'll be
he'll be
back.
out 2 weeks, they say, 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
Joel
don't
Embiid just has bad luck, man.
I mean, yeah, he was ready to come back. His knees were not bothering him. He was playing well, at least offensively. He was a
Yeah.
top offensive player. And then once again, he goes down. Whatever. I think the Magic are also another possibility. We saw what the Magic can do to you last year, bang you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I had one player that I took away from this game, and I don't know if it's a negative thing per se, but Jordan Walsh, right? Joe Mazzulla, for most of the season, he'd ride the hot hand when it came to this, bottom rotation guys between Walsh, a Gonzalez, a Harper. I think Baylor Scheierman has
Fireman to
graduated.
start.
He has
Yeah.
graduated from that. He's going to get 15 to 20 minutes every
Yep.
game in the playoffs
He's your
right
next
now.
Peyton Pritchard kind of guy.
Yeah. Right. And he can handle the ball a little bit as a point
Yeah.
guard. But Jordan Walsh, I love how now we haven't seen Ugo in a while. I don't know why. I think Jordan Walsh is just maybe a little bit more confident on his 3-point shooting because, quite frankly, I think they're pretty similar players.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to see Ugo Gonzalez a little bit more.
We
And
saw him
for,
last night a little bit, but
right
yeah.
for the sole reason that Jordan Walsh, you want one or two guys that Joe Mazzulla can just throw in for 10 minutes a night and just fully shut down an opponent play. Like he doesn't even need to be a factor offensively. You just want him in there to mess with another team, like just for 10 minutes. But Jalen Brunson is a terrible matchup for him because he fouls way too much. And Brunson knows that. He
Draws
takes
fouls like
advantage of it.
crazy.
Jalen Brunson
Yeah.
is one of the best foul, not baiters, but foul getters in the
Yeah.
NBA. It's going to be, I mean, every single time it felt like Jordan Walsh would get, deked on a pump fake from Brunson and
Yeah.
go to the line. That's not going to work. You have
But
to.
I will say this.
Mhm.
Let me interrupt for 1 second, which is, um, I feel like when I see Jordan Walsh in his 8 to 9 minutes a game these days, he is earning his right to be on that floor. I
Oh,
mean,
for sure. For sure.
he is Captain Hustle. He is making plays. He had a block, the other night, and like he is going all out for those
Yeah.
10 minutes to try and earn
And
his role.
here's one of the things, actually, I'm not worried about that when it comes to the playoffs. Because you're not relying on them offensively, it doesn't really matter. Yes, you need them to make shots, but it doesn't really matter how well they're doing offensively if they can just come in and mess another team up for 10 minutes a night. Just to take a quick detour on what the San Antonio Spurs do, one of the reasons why people are so high on the Spurs is because they win their games on the defense. And defense is something that could show up each and every night, whether the shooting is there or not, right? Most teams like the San Antonio Spurs that are in their first year ever in the playoffs don't go very far, right? There is that experience gap. But why, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but people think that this Spurs team could sort of break the trend is because of the fact that most teams lose because of point guards that are inexperienced. They can't, close out games. They don't have a point guard that runs the offense for them. Yes, they have Dylan Harper and maybe a De'Aaron Fox, but De'Aaron Fox is a veteran in this league at this point, right? They do most of their work through Wemby and obviously on the defensive end, right? And that's why you're looking for like a guy like Jordan Walsh just to come in and be that consistently defensive force and not worry too much about the offense.
Well, if we get a chance to play the Spurs in the playoffs, I'll be happy. I'll just put it that way.
Well, sure. I'm talking about from a Spurs point of view.
I understand.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting. I have to say, okay, fine. All teams develop and grow, usually throughout the season. Some decline through the season, right? Changes. This team defensively has gotten so much better throughout the season. I mean, even with there's still some bad fouls. Jordan Walsh still fouls a little bit, but Cade is fouling less.
And to be honest, without Brown, now Brown still can lock in when he needs to. Yeah. But as the main guy on this team, offensively, you can't be doing all the things that you do defensively. You need other guys to carry that weight. And
I just feel like, look, this doesn't feel like an elite defensive team to me. But they're definitely gotten better. I mean, when you saw Hauser on D, you were like, oh no. And now you're like, I actually feel okay. Hauser plays solid D. It's a solid B.
I mean, teams are still going to attack him because he is the worst player out there. Because you got to attack someone. That's just how it
attack
works,
somebody,
right?
But you attack maybe Pritchard because of his size, or you attack. But this guy's play good D.
Yeah, there's one downside that has been really frustrating, and there's nothing you can do about that. You get rid of Al Horford, you can't play a switching defense anymore. You just can't, right? Al Horford was on there. The Celtics would switch all 1 through 5. Everybody could guard everyone. You can't do that this year, right? Keita, Garza, whoever it is, has to play that drop coverage. And teams have just exposed the Celtics just coming around screens and shooting threes, mid-ranges, whatever. The most surprising thing about Joe Mazzulla, right? He loves the margins. He loves taking more shots than the other team does, making more threes than another team is.
Yeah.
They're no longer leading the league in threes, actually, because Jaylen Brown, we're going to get to that, has just become like a SGA in the fact that he's taken over the mid-range.
He owns the mid-range now,
right? But they give up the most threes as well. That's so unlike Joe Mazzulla to give up the thing that you're trying to win the margin on. I don't really understand that, but that's just how it's going to have to be. You're going to have to live with that. You got to do a little bit better job. Keita, whoever it is, that's where Tatum is so beneficial, because if you can play Jayson Tatum at the 5 and put Keita on a non-shooter, they're still going to go at it, but then you can have Tatum out on their perimeter for those switches, and it can, sort of help to lessen those sort of big spaces in between.
I agree. Since we're talking about big men here, let me just I know we're in the same order here. You want to go 1, 2, 3, Keita, Garzilla, and then Vooch. Is that your order?
Yeah, and I don't know what to make of Joe Mazzulla playing so much Vooch down the stretch. Is that just because they're trying to work him back up to speed? Because now Garza, he doesn't play for 20 games. He comes right in and it's the same old
Garza. He hits threes and he plays
the shooting difference between Vooch and Garza is non-existent. I mean, they're pretty much the same shooter.
I
And
think
then Garza's doing
I
all
think
the
it's
things on the
pretty
offensive rebound.
it's pretty straightforward. You see a month layoff, you see how rusty guys get,
Yeah.
and he wants to get him as many minutes as he can because
Mhm.
basically these games don't matter,
Right.
right? So get him in the flow, get him back up to speed, get him seeing shots going down because
Hmm.
you need all three of those guys. It's not a two-man game for you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kata, Kata just can't play enough minutes. You
Right.
know what I mean?
But I'm really hoping that you can get 30. Can we get 30 minutes of Kata if he's not fouling? Now, if he fouls, whatever.
Well, here's the problem. You can get 30 minutes of Kata in the first round. Let's say you get to the conference finals or the finals.
Mm,
How tired is he by the time he gets there if he's playing
right.
30 minutes a game?
Because I'm
Now,
really
if you have
hoping,
4 or 5 game series, okay.
yeah, I'm really hoping you can get 20. Okay, let's say 25 minutes of Kata. Can you get 10 of Vucevic that puts you at 35? Or sorry, 10 of Garza that puts you at 35. If you get, another 5 to 10, somewhere in that range, that puts you at 40. Can you get by 8 minutes of a combination of small ball with Tatum, Ugo Gonzalez at the 5? Right? Can you
Maybe you need 28, 29 out of Kata or something,
right?
right?
Like, can you? Because
I think you can
to be
get 20.
honest,
I think you can get high 20s out of Kata.
I know, I know that Joe Mazzulla right now at least loves going to Vucevic for that ability to expand the offense and stretch guys out. Right now, I'd rather see a small ball lineup with Tatum at the 5 or a Gonzalez right now at the 5. I just would. I know you take off a shooter, but I just think that defense can switch much better. You can be able to guard guys out on the
Well,
perimeter.
I think it depends who you play. There's some small lineups out there too where
Yeah, if
you
you're
could
not
match
playing
up.
shooters, maybe, but Joe Mazzulla always, is always about leaving the one guy open that, is their worst 3-point shooter. If for some reason it always feels like that guy always shoots so well when he plays. I know that's not the case. It just feels like that.
But
Um,
that's got it's like Bill Belichick. He's like, your job is take away their weapon.
mhm.
That take away their best thing and make them beat you with their less good things. And if they beat you, they beat you, right? Like, you know, you can't leave Brunson to play ball, right? You can't leave SGA to play ball. You got to take away their 1 and 2, and you got to make their third option beat your third option, right? That's how it's got to be. And then it's at the
Yeah.
margins, and you're like, okay, is my white defender or my, whatever going to be better than your, you know, whatever, your number 3 guy, your number 4 guy? That's how you have to do.
Yeah. There anything else you want to talk about this Knicks game before we move on to sort of bigger picture season things? I do want to have a segment on Derrick White because Derrick White, unfortunately, is getting really frustrating at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
No, I mean, the only other
yeah,
segment we talked a little bit about, but I want to know at some point, maybe now's a good time, we could do it later, where it's playoff time. I know you're 5. Well, I know you're 4. I want to know who's your starting 5, and I want to know who's 6, 7, 8, 9 off the bench for you.
5. Um,
Who's
you
your
mean
fifth?
you mean 5 as in it's all Jaylen Brown. Ron takes off the crown. Jayson Tatum goes to town. Celtics in 5.
No, it's not what I mean. Who's your starting 5?
Friend sent me one of the Lakers ones, and I responded with that. Um,
Who's your fifth starter?
so there was a point in the season where I was like, Scheierman, please take over Hauser's spot. But you see in these last couple of games how Hauser can be such a weapon for you. He can make a 5-point lead into a 15-point lead.
Yeah.
I keep Hauser. I'd watch it closely. I'd switch between Hauser and Scheierman depending on what's needed on that night. To be honest, I think those two guys are pretty close. I stick with Hauser because Hauser started all season and he's made the most of it.
A little more veteran experience too.
Right. To be honest, I actually think Scheierman can be a huge asset in these playoffs.
I think that's right. I think Hauser's a little better offensively than Scheierman is. I think Scheierman's a good shooter. I think Hauser's, look, he goes cold, everybody's cold, but I think he's a better shooter. I think Scheierman's a better defender. And so I like bringing in Scheierman off the bench so that, because when you've got your A team out there, bringing Scheierman is a little stronger on D, right? But it's Pritchard, Scheierman, Luka, right? Those are your next three guys off the bench. I can't hear you.
You can't really do it like that, right? You have to do it based on the position.
No, I know, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying
yeah,
those are your first three guys up, right? So
yeah, yeah. Depends. Pritchard's gone cold a little bit in the last couple of playoffs, I feel like.
all right, plus minus Ron Harper in the first series
Uh-oh.
gets more or less than 12 minutes of total time.
In the first series?
Whole series.
Oh, bring that up 100%. There will be a blowout in there that Harper
And
will
they'll
take
throw him
over.
in for the 10 minutes, you think? Okay.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
that's what I'm asking.
100%. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to some bigger picture stuff. First of all, we briefly touched on it a little bit, but I can't figure out whether Jaylen Brown has turned into a mini Giannis or a mini SGA, because with Giannis, he's just bullying his way to the basket sometimes. I mean, all these, the offensive fouls come with it, but just, he has just turned up the aggressiveness. He's driving, putting defenders just in his path and just pushing them out of the way like a Giannis would do. And then SGA, the mid-range galore that he is just taken over this year. I don't know who he's, trying to replicate his game after per se, but pretty, pretty, interchangeable on who he's become this year. A little bit of both, really.
Yeah, he feels more SGA to me with the driving, kicking it out, or the driving, the mid range, and drawing the fouls. I really would like though for him to stop throwing his left elbow into guys' chins. Like you gotta stop clipping dudes in the face. They
I
are.
I wonder if they call that stuff in the playoffs, but
I mean, they're gonna call it because he just is
yeah,
like, hey.
yeah, he actually does keep doing that.
I mean, he's been called on that a lot in the last half of the season.
By
But he doesn't get the calls that Giannis gets, and he still doesn't get the calls that SGA gets.
by the way, you're down for I saw this, right? You're down for Brown, Hauser, and Scheierman for Giannis.
Brown, no, I'm definitely not down for that.
Really? The only reason
Brown,
that's happening is because Giannis wants to potentially play for Boston.
I'll give him Ron Harper.
Have you seen all the rumors about this?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's no chance it happens, right?
I don't think you can after the season Brown had this year. I don't think you can.
Well,
If maybe if he had a rough year, you would think about it.
You can't trade Brown or Tatum. I don't think they're touchable.
Brown could have been if he had a rough year this year, but
I mean, Tatum's also 28, right? So like Giannis,
Brown's older than Tatum. I mean,
1 year, but I just feel like Giannis so injury prone and like
I agree. I
two
would
or
not
three good years maybe left.
This is not rumors from the Celtics. This is Giannis has said he wants to play for the Celtics. Maybe.
By the way, I kind of honestly, when you think about a big man, I'd like to just see us draft or trade. Like they've shown an incredible propensity to develop guys like Kata, Cornette, like whatever. Like go find that next guy,
right,
and develop him. So,
okay. The next guy that we have to talk about this season, we briefly touched on it. What do you make of Derrick White?
Look, Derrick White is within 2 blocks, I think, of the only player to have 200 threes and 100 blocks in a season, which is on one hand totally contrived and a ridiculous thing to think about, and also kind of amazing.
Right.
So look, his shooting has not been consistent and good. We don't have to even talk about it. The question is, what do you do? We don't have to dwell on it. Michael, I gotta say 2 things. One, Kiki White. Hear me out. Kiki White. You know who Kiki White is? It is Derrick White channeling Kiki Hernandez in the playoffs. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna turn into Mr. May.
So your teammate running into you from center field and still catching the ball is what you meant.
he's gonna get pick and rolled by his own team and still score. No, I think you have to. I think you got to wait Hauser and Pritchard to take a few more shots. until White finds his feet. But the thing is, White's got to, shooters got to shoot, but he's been shooting and has not found his rhythm, and it's worrying.
Yeah. Two things on this. One is nobody's asked this question to Joe. I don't know why. But trying to find ways for Derrick White to get easier shots in the paint because he's been okay at the mid range and whatever, and right, it's just been those 3-point shooting and those deep ones over, contested ones that he loves to shoot. That's like his shot.
Yeah.
But that's really been a problem. Like, why hasn't Mazzulla tried to get him easier shots and whatever? The other thing is, I thought that would come around with Tatum in the spacing, and he'd have better looks, and he has had better looks. He's had more open shots, but it's not really about who's guarding him. He just is not able to make them right now, and I'm worried. Like, I want him out there so badly for all the defensive things that he does, but I wonder if, can you get? I mean, I just don't think there's anybody that does what he does defensively off the ball stuff that you can replace him, unfortunately.
Who would you rather have taking your 3-point shots right now, White or Tatum?
I mean, is it?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Is it bad for me to say Tatum? Like, that shouldn't be the case. But I'd rather have one-legged LaMelo Ball 3-pointers than Derrick White right now.
Dude, LaMelo Ball is a human circus shot. Like, it is absurd.
Hey, they could upset the Pistons if they make it through.
Yeah, they could. I mean, LaMelo Ball, he balls. He's a baller. It's absurd the shots he hits.
He has no balls? Is that what I heard?
No.
Anyway.
I did not say that. But look, I think it's a problem. Nobody hits the teardrop as well as he does. He's great.
I just think he does.
Range.
It's so weird because on one hand, I'm like, he does so many good things that they outweigh his poor shooting. But on the other hand, if he doesn't shoot, he might also lose a series for the Celtics. Like, I don't know which one to weigh more at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is you got a bunch of other 3-point shooters. As we know, Kata can shoot threes. We saw that last night.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. Yep. Yep, going to turn into Josh Hart in the playoffs.
What happens if Kata hits 4 threes in the next game? People be like, what?
I do think it was unlike Luke, right? Because Luke took 1 3 last season and he made it or something like that, right? He was maybe 2. He was 50% or something.
That's it?
Something like that, yeah. He was like 50% from 3 or something. Kata's already taken 4 this year, so his percentage isn't good. It just went from 0 to 25 or whatever.
He stepped right into that shot, though. It was clean.
Well, I mean, I wish they would. I mean, I'm sure he's not going to play on Sunday. Maybe he will. But if he does, I mean, just run. I would love for them just to run screens for him to shoot threes.
Well, you saw Joe Mazzulla. They had a chance to go for the record.
Joe Mazzulla is such a soft guy for that. I hate, like, nobody cares. We saw Bam Adebayo score 83 on the Wizards, just fouling the other team. Like, nobody cares that you would take that last shot. Like, that was really
I agree. I would have taken that shot too. Like,
and if I'm his player, I'd shoot it anyway.
Can we just comment also briefly that the Grizzlies made 30 threes?
Well, there were first ever 3 triple doubles in that. And also, let me just say this while we're on it: catastrophic win for the Jazz. Their percentage went down 10% with that win.
I know.
Really catastrophic. All right, other players.
It's okay. It's okay because the NBA will just put their finger on the scale.
Here's what I'm worried about. They're going too far with this anti-taking things. It's not going to be a problem next year when the draft isn't as good.
Well, let me ask you a question because I think this is really interesting. I think there's tanking in every sport. I think tanking is bad for basketball, but there's tanking in every sport. What's way worse, and I don't know why, they don't want you to talk about it, is gambling. Terry Rozier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So much worse.
Yeah. Here's another thing though. Quickly on the tanking because we gotta move on and make this the show. But there's a difference between tanking and throwing games, right? You can play whatever. You can play your
worst 5 guys as hard as they can play.
Right. And let them just go out and lose the game anyway. Or you can play, your star players, and if he has a triple double, but your team's about to win, you pull him out the game so you lose, or you play him 20 minutes and then you pull them, or you intentionally foul. I don't know if you saw this in the Kings game. They claimed it as we saw a team in the Kings make up an excuse saying they are a dumb franchise to the NBA to get out of paying a fine because they fouled up late to make sure the Warriors would win the game. They're out of excuses. They had to go to just saying they are a dumb franchise to get out of paying a fine. That is, oh gosh.
Anyway, I honestly, like, the tanking thing doesn't bother me so much. It doesn't make good basketball, and I that's not good for the sport. But like, never knowing how the officials are going to call a game, never knowing if some player has a prop bet that he's shaving on, like, to me, that's the integrity of all basketball.
And that's something we have to dive into off season or whatever. I don't think that can. I don't know if there is a fix to that. It's just become too big of. You just gotta. That's a much bigger problem and whatever. But I think so. The Celtics play one more game as we're recording this on Sunday evening. I think all the games are at 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. just so they teams don't know what their outcome can be and whatever. So Celtics will play that game against the Magic. Don't think anybody will play. I believe I'm looking at the standings right now. As I look, the standings are that the Heat have the 10th seed locked up. I believe that the Hornets are, so they're also in the 10th spot. So it's going to most likely be 76ers Magic. We're going to do a full preview of that later. That game will be Tuesday, so we'll do a reaction after that game as well. But I think I want the 76ers now that Joel Embiid is not going to be ready for that series. If not, I would have taken the Magic. Like, I don't like the Magic because they're just going to rough you up, but you don't want to really play Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid if you don't have to. But I think with Joel Embiid out, I will take the 76ers. We'll do a full preview of that later. As for now, the Boston Celtics, a miracle type season. If they can win the championship in this year, that is going to be one of the greatest storied championships in NBA history. It has to.
Even going to the Eastern Conference Finals game is a huge season.
Now they're the favorite though, so I don't know. But
but you got to look back at the start, not the now.
Yeah. But we'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can check out this podcast and all podcast episodes on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, go C's.